The Harris Company operated a chain of department stores named Harris from 1905 until 2009. Welcome to Eric C. Productions. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, please hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you get notified of my latest videos that are posted during the week. Be sure to hit that like button and leave a suggestion or a comment. You might see that video in a future posting. Thanks for watching, and now back to the program.
Trends, you'll find the best names meet at Harris's Underground.
Genera, Katrina, Gotcha. Rio, Motto, Code Blue. It's for you.
Whether it's casual wear, going to the beach, tropical, or you're dressing it up, you'll find the hottest summer look. You know the place.
Harris's Underground.
The right choice for the right look. There's nothing else like it.
Philip, Arthur, and Herman Harris started the Harris Company with a small dry goods store in 1905. Philip, Arthur, and Herman Harris were nephews of Leopold Harris, founder of what was once the large Los Angeles-based chain Harris and Frank, and Philip and Herman had worked there. The three brothers started Harris Company with a small dry goods building in 1905 on the ground floor of the Armory Building at 462 3rd Street between D and E Streets, with a storefront which was only 25 feet wide. Philip and Herman closed their White House store at 103 West 4th Street in Santa Ana and brought the stock to San Bernardino. Arthur Harris joined in 1906 after having worked in his brother-in-law's store in Anaheim. With $2,500 of Arthur's money, Harris Company moved across the street. The Harris brothers hired a window trimmer and a dozen employees and became the most stylish store in town. In 1907, they opened a second floor to a house millinery and ready-to-wear. In 1907, they added what was the first elevator in San Bernardino. They opened a branch in Colton without success, and in 1908, a branch in Redlands was successful. By 1915, the flagship store had annexed what was the Cartwright's dry goods building, as well as a clothing store. By 1919, they started to buy land at 3rd and E Street to build a new, larger store, which launched on November 7, 1927, with 3 floors plus a mezzanine, basement, and a roof garden. There was a tea room, lunch counter, beauty parlor, barber shop, sit-down soda fountain, candies, stationery, grocery store called Sage's Market, and a restaurant, Cafe Madrid. The main entrance archway, fitted with Italian marble, rose 29 feet, while the interior lobby ceiling was an impressive 32 feet high. The doors were made of hammered copper. The outside face of the building had alternating intricate stone and wrought iron ornamental grillwork with the Harris coat of arms molded into the stonework. A month before the move, the little business that started as a partnership of brothers became a corporation worth $1 million. The Harris Company graduated to the status of department store. Many thought the Harris brothers were taking a gamble to build a modern department store in a city roughly 20,000 people. 3 years later, the risk was realized when the Great Depression began closing banks across the country. Herman and his nephew, Leslie, devised a plan to save at least one of the banks that backed Harris. Throughout the day, regular deposits were made for the Harris Company, and employees were sent over to open new accounts. Herman stood atop a chair and announced his confidence in the bank, prompting other leading citizens to follow suit. According to R.D. McCook, co-founder of First National, Herman nipped the panic in the bud. Even though the years were lean, by saving electricity and cutting salaries, none of the Harris employees were laid off. Herman passed away in 1933 of a heart attack, and only 6 years later, Philip died as well. Both men were lauded in the papers for their community involvement and civic mindedness. Out of respect, each Harris store in San Bernardino and Redlands closed early on the day of the burials. Philip's three sons, Leslie, Harold, and Melville, had been raised in the business since childhood and were next in line at the helm. The second generation of Harris successfully continued management of the Harris Company and ushered in a period of significant growth. One program initiated by this trio in the late 1940s was called Men's Night. One shopper recalled only men were allowed in the store to shop for Christmas gifts for their wives, girlfriends, children, and others. It was great fun, and the clerks, mostly older women, were a tremendous help. Another feature throughout the 1940s and 50s, which became synonymous with Harris and the holiday season, was their animated window displays on E Street. Many Inland Empire residents had an annual tradition of stopping by the Harris Company to see the Christmas windows. Additionally, for many years, the Harris Company had the only Santa in the region. Numerous children met their very first Santa at the Harris Toyland. Similar to the original founders, the second generation worked hard to ensure that San Bernardino had everything the big cities had. In 1947, the Harris Company was the first building to have a motor stair, or escalator as it is known today in the Inland Empire. It created quite a stir since the closest alternative was an hour away in Los Angeles. For the next 3 days after its inauguration, parents knew exactly where to find their children when they shopped. In the years ahead, the Harris Company underwent several expansions to their San Bernardino and Redlands stores. More importantly, they also extended the Harris chain, opening a new store as the main anchor of the Riverside Plaza on September 30th, 1957. The suburbs had been growing steadily since the end of World War II, and with the spurt of highway construction across America, downtowns lost many historic structures. In the late 1960s and early 70s, due to the Central City Redevelopment Program, major changes occurred at the San Bernardino store. The 1927 floors were taken out and retrofitted, the upper floor windows were filled in, and lightweight concrete was used to build a fourth floor in order to relocate the executive offices formerly on the mezzanine levels. In 1981, Spanish retailer El Corte Inglés acquired the Harris Company and its 9 stores, which included Bakersfield, Hemet, Indio, Moreno Valley, Palmdale, Redlands, Riverside, San Bernardino, and Victorville. A final crushing blow to the local San Bernardino economy came with the closing of Norton Air Force Base in 1994. Harris merged with Gottschalk's in August of 1998, and Harris's flagship store in San Bernardino closed 4 months later on January 31st, 1999. The stores were initially renamed Harris Gottschalk's. Most of the original Harris stores eventually dropped the name Harris except for Bakersfield, Indio, and Moreno Valley, which continue to operate under the Harris Gottschalk's name. On January 14, 2009, Gottschalk's filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. In March of 2009, Gottschalk's announced that it had lined up a group of bidders to liquidate the chain. On March 31st, Gottschalk's announced it would liquidate its remaining stores, and on July 12, 2009, all of the Gottschalk's were closed.
And now, Project Economy coverage, and a major retailer, Gottschalk's, is the latest casualty of the sagging economy, going out of business and taking local jobs and sales tax dollars with it. Today, the news came down that Gottschalk's will be liquidated. The company filed for bankruptcy in January, and a group of liquidators bought it at auction. Santa Cruz County has 2 Gottschalk stores, one at the Capitola Mall, the other in Watsonville.
Hey, if you just watched my video, thanks for watching. Hit that like button and please subscribe to Eric C. Productions.